Any history fans in the room? Personally, I find it funny when throughout history we've had instances of people doing something dumb and then karma quickly visiting vengeance upon that moron for very dumb reasons. Despite what the public may like to think, or the atheists, or I'm sorry, the cringier atheists like to claim, there is such a thing as your actions coming back to bite you in the ass. Now, whether or not that's divine retribution, is a different story. But anyway, back in, well, let's say Audie Murphy's day when he was in the military, there was this guy he served with. The crowds pretended to be, I guess, surrendering. Then the machine gunner opened fire and gunned down his best friend, who he had known since, I guess, boot camp. Audie Murphy got pissed and he charged that machine gun repeatedly, and I think he took the fucker out. Like, only Audie Murphy and Alvin York have done something that sounds monumentally suicidal and came out on top, figuratively and probably literally. And you're probably wondering why I bring this up. Oh, easy. There's this YouTuber I watch called Wendigoon. Christian does random videos like he does. Like it's whenever he does a video, it's very random. What it's going to be. It follows a certain category, but I'm blanking on what to call it other than one of my fellow weirdos. Um, and he has been catching shit like even before this shitstorm hit a week or so ago. He had already been catching shit from a bunch of douchebags online, like internet losers who get their rocks off ruining people's lives for very dumb reasons, like, oh, I don't know, not voting the right amount, or oh, I guess they also took offense to the fact that someone mentions they were a Christian on occasion, just for context, you stupid vacuous cunts. But um, and anyway, now this has already happened before. I was hoping he would ignore it, and it looks like he hasn't really changed anything. This is I've seen Wendigoon. He is a bit like Yang Ye. His commentary is very unoffensive. The only difference is I respect Wendigoon. Yang Ye went piss on if he was on fire. The man wears Hawaiian shirts, or did before this, and he takes a very, I wouldn't say neutral stance, more like he takes the stance of being the least retarded, insane person in the room. Like he's the out of all the people that could be in a room, he's the last one I would probably say needs to go to Butler Hospital. Let's phrase it that way. And then this, I don't want to say douchebag because that's an insult to douchebags. This little sentient soy pod cunt that looks like it's a man, but it is a man in appearance in name only. Only on its birth certificate do you call it a man. In real life, I call this thing a bitch. He put out a hit piece, and it started out as a video that was supposed to be talking about, I guess, horror films, and it was at one point bashing conservatives and how they shouldn't be involved in it because there's this thing with lefties how they like to think they have this monopoly on creativity, to which I can only say, first of all, you dipshits, no, you don't. One of the most well-renowned authors of fantasy was a conservative. That's right, bitch. Tolkien was conservative. He was also an academic, one of the few academics to be involved in literature whose works I can sort of understand and didn't come off as stupid. Unlike the Hero of a Thousand Faces, that was like pretentious horse shit in hindsight. But anyway, um, so this dipshit writes a hit piece, or I'm sorry, not writes. That requires writing. And I highly doubt he has enough literature skills to write. He puts out a video hit piece on several people, and one of them is Wendigoon. And I gotta confess, even for something that blows up in your face so hard it could be mistaken for the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, holy fuck, was this epic! Like he fucked up so bad that he had to not only delete the video, but he had to put out a statement saying he wasn't going to be doing stuff like this, or he doesn't. And for the record, he doesn't regret what he said. He only regrets that people didn't like it. He's not sorry he tried to ruin someone's life and slander them. He's upset that you called him out for being a commie propagandist. And like all commies, he should take a long walk off a short cliff, if I'm being perfectly honest. And holy, I can't decide what was more offensive. Like I think I told Dan this. I can't decide which is more offensive. The fact that he did this to Wendigoon, who again is like the most not neutral but unoffensive of YouTubers I watch, and I only started watching him I think last year. Like not only did he attack Wendigoon, who you should check out by the way if you have some spare time, but also to add insult to injury of this offensive,ness he has one of the shittiest porno stashes I've ever seen, and not like a good one. with the mustache he wears, it looks like something a hipster porn star would have. But that's beside the point. I don't want to go full red letter media because I'm better than that. Well, sort of. Um, he did this, and I'm like, what the fuck did you think would happen, you bread tuber loser? Like, you fire shots at someone who doesn't deserve it, people are gonna notice. It's a bit like a statement I once heard when someone tried to rationalize why Lincoln became more popular after he got his mind blown, quite literally. Even if people in the North and the South didn't like him, it was like you killed our president. Fuck you. It doesn't matter if we hate him or not. It doesn't matter if he was a tyrant, dipshit, cunt. He was still our president. And yes, I do not regret calling Lincoln that. Fuck him. If everything I've been reading about him as of late is true, then yeah, I could say can go to hell, but that'd be unfair to the people in hell. Kind of like Hitler and Stalin, and Mussolini, but that's beside the point. And sorry if I'm digressing, but yeah, this guy fucked up monumental. And I gotta confess, the thing that has my mind blown in a non-murderous sense is how epically this blew up. And it's like there are already people who didn't like when you hell. I'm willing to bet that small 1% of people who bitch about religious people online were the only ones that liked that video or that part of the video. And it wasn't even that also, but he also tried to associate Wendigoon with this radical group who all wear Hawaiian shirts, and he was like saying, "Well, Wendigoon wears Hawaiian shirts, so he must be a member." Like, fuck no, you little bitch. This is like saying Steve Bannon was involved with January 6th when he wasn't even there at the time. I'd say I'm shocked, but these mental midgets do have the proclivity for being about as intellectually honest as well a serial killer at his trial when he's not pleading guilty. Like Ted Bundy has more intellectual honesty than these mental retards, these pissheads. And I've said before, I'll say it, or I think I said before, these are sociopaths. These are people who will lie about you, ruin your life, make it to where either you starve to death or you have to kill yourself to self-delete because your way of life is so painful at that point, and laugh about it. Hell, these are the same fuckers who, after Charlottesville happened, which by the way I call bullshit on the narrative of that event. After that happened, there was this guy. He just resembled one of the people who participated. He lost his job and self deleted, let's just say. And these same cunts were then laughing about it. He wasn't even the guy they were mad at. It became public knowledge he wasn't. And they still laughed about it. I'm like, fuck you. Seriously, Antifa, commies, kindly blow me to completion. No, better yet, blow a shotgun to the completion. They also did this with the father of one of the victims at Parkland. When it came out he was a Trump supporter, they're like, well, I feel bad for him, but he got what he deserved. I'm like, fuck you. Fuck each and every one of you leftists who have this mindset. Not like yeah, if you've ever wondered why Trump is more popular than you shitheads, it ain't that hard to see if you had any self-awareness, which you claim other people lack. But anyway, sorry to digress, but and rant. However, the fact that he did all this straw manning bullshit, and it blew back, and again, it blew up in his face harder than Hiroshima, and well, at least in terms of being so near it when it went off. Like, like this is another case of like I can see a monumental bomb go off, and yeah, it sucks to be near it, but as an outsider seeing it from very far away, it's funny as hell. And I'm like, not only do I hope Praise and Shadows continues to suffer blowback from this, because I've heard some people say he's basically ruined his career. I'm calling bullshit there. Because I've heard this people say like they said this about Kevin Smith, that douchebag sellout after he fucked up the He-Man show. Although he was just the director, but he could have changed some stuff. But people were saying his career's no, it's not. I call bullshit. Like people were saying his next film was gonna flop. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure after he started pulling it around or parading it around certain places, it did okay. Like, yeah, that doesn't always mean what you think it'll mean. However, I am hoping this is true because he's a bread tuber, or from what little knowledge of him I have, and he's also, in some circles, considered a communist. And as you all know, I hate commies like I hate Al Qaeda. The only difference, I find Al Qaeda less annoying. They're pretty straightforward about what they do. Like they're like, yeah, we're gonna kill you on live TV and then send your head to your family. At least they're honest about what they do. Sort of. Like they're 50-50 when it comes to honesty, but still. they're more honest than commies. And if this Praise and Shouts guy is a commie, fuck him. And R.L. Stein, I really question your taste now since you helped prop this guy up. Well, in a manner of speaking. And that's just my opinion on the goat fuck that was that Wendigoon Shadows locate situation. I actually meant to do a video on this sooner, but I kept procrastinating because I was doing something at the time or just lazing about because that's kind of what I do. But like, yeah, no, if you're gonna start shit with someone, this reminds me of Gamergate. Like I had this thought while I was walking outside today because I try to walk 3 times a day, and this kind of reminds me of how I would sometimes characterize Gamergate. Some people say it failed. Some people would ask did it really succeed. I'm like, I think you're looking at this the wrong way. This wasn't a case of like two people fighting out to win. This was a case of someone fired shots at someone. That person fired back, and it ended in what I call a stalemate. It's just one likes to pretend it won. You know, like how Al Qaeda pretends they pushed back the Crusaders, even though they got righteously deflowered in the overall. It's a bit like that. Like you are denying a truth, kind of like how the leftists still like to propagate the lie that Kyle Rittenhouse murdered 3 people, or at least 2 people and wounded another. Like it is a lie. They know it is a lie. We know it is a lie. They know we know it is a lie, and still they lie. That's so it's a bit like that. Like that, it's a bit like Gamergate, and that's it's also the only difference is Gamergate's a bit like the 2016 election. It traumatized the left, which was kind of funny in hindsight. And I wasn't even paying attention in Gamergate, but when I learned about it in 2017, I was both amused and pissed off. Kind of like now with this. So, Praise and Shadows, fuck you. I would say I helped you blow your brains out, but yeah, that'd be unfair to the guy who has to clean the room afterwards. And also, I don't encourage suicide. Sort of, except for Hillary Clinton. I'm like, yeah, when the entire nation decides they prefer a walking spray tan commercial to you, it may be time to consider Hemingwaying yourself. And I think I'm going to stop there before I say something even worse. Have a nice day, and remember the game was rigged from the start.